Hey everyone, it's John with National Sports Entertainment, and I wanted to go into tonight's basketball games. We did good yesterday. We do tend to do better when there's only a few games. We won 3 for 4, and I'll take that any day of the week. But today I was looking at the games, and I like to stick to, obviously, I like NBA TV games because there's going to be narratives. Not a coincidence. We have the Eastern Conference Finals rematch. But the Heat are severely banged up, so it might not be exactly the game people are expecting. Bucks, Knicks, I like. So I'm looking at all these games, and again, I look at metrics, okay? So here, this is a game where I feel like the Wolves might get faded. There's not a lot of games I think they're going to get faded hard just because people look at talent. They don't look at a record. They look at the guys that even without Towns, they still have people still look at Rudy Gobert as an all-star defender. The best two-guard tandem in the game, and they look at them as a good team. So it's not often they're faded, but against Ja, who is healthy, and a good Memphis team, I do see them getting faded. It's also a game I love the points because 2.5, people might think, I think people have this preconception that just because a game is within 2 or 3, that's no different than the money line, especially with football. And it's a psychological number. So often we will win by having 2 points. 1.5 isn't that often, but it will happen. But believe it or not, 2.5 points will really help in a lot of cases. So we missed the Blazers last night, and we missed the Lakers the night before. So I do find it fitting that we're going to play this sequence probably 4 legs, only because I like these two metrics a lot. So we do have the Wolves plus 2.5, and I do think they cover. I think they probably win, but I think they definitely cover. It might come down to the very end. And this one's going to be a 3rd leg. Now, the reason I said it's fitting is if it becomes a 4th leg, I'm going over that game next. And I'm probably going to take it to a 4th leg because we've been doing really well. I can afford to do a 4th. Like I said, I won't ever go past 4. But if the first game, the Wolves don't come through, I do love the Lakers in this game. I went over before how I think when they cover, they're going to cover big. When they win, they're going to cover. If you noticed, every win is a cover. They haven't covered in one losing effort. This will continue the little winning flurry. And with the Blazers on a pretty long road stretch, I think not even a road stretch, just a stretch in general. They played 4 out of 5, I think, or something like that. They got some banged up players. And they really have no answer for AD, if we're being honest. So even on NBA TV, it's hard to explain away Nurk stopping AD. I think they need that. That's why the Blazers-Clippers game, they looked so good early on. I think people want the Blazers to look pretty good, but this one I do like the Lakers a lot to cover. Put the Blazers on 11-11 too. I told you about that number yesterday. They are very fascinated with those numbers. So I do like the Lakers to cover a lot. That would probably become a 4th leg of my sequence with the, as I said, Wolves if they don't win. This one, I love the Knicks for a few reasons. Again, not that 12-7. That's a perfectly normal record at the end of the season against the spread. That's a perfectly normal percentage. But for that to happen, they need to balance out, so they can't just keep winning. So I think this is a perfect game where, again, people are going to look at the Knicks as pretenders, kind of have them in the same category as teams like the Pacers, and kind of laugh off that they're only, they should be getting more than 6.5 against the Bucks. And I think people are going to take a healthy Giannis and a healthy Drew, which is really, all they've had all year. And when they've had them too, they've been very good. So I do like the Knicks to cover this game. Wouldn't be surprised if they outright won, but I of course, I'm going to take the cover. This one, I like Cleveland a lot. This one's a first sequence, so there's a reason. If it's a first sequence, then usually I don't go back to my notepad because you just know. But if it's going to be a 2nd or 3rd leg, I'll always put it here. That way you can just guide yourself and play, the next sequence. But this is a first sequence. I like the Cavs because the Sixers went on a little bit of a flurry. I think they have to, again, they can't make them look ridiculously strong, and they have to make it interesting. So I think that the Sixers do lose this game, and I think the Cavs cover. I think people are going to be fading them. Even though Harden's out, they got most of the other guys back, and I just think more people are going to be on the Sixers in this game after the way they've looked. with Shake Milton and other guys looking really good. Now, some, like I said, I play simply based off the metrics. A lot of these have fit that criteria. Wolves are very bad against the spread. Bucks are very good against it. That's why we're taking the Knicks and the Wolves. And I'm taking the Cavs because it looks like one where I think more of the public is going to be on the Sixers. Wizards, Nets, I'm staying away from. I could, say I guess the Nets because it would make the Wizards 11-11. But I see them pushing the Wizards pretty good this year, so I'm staying away from that one. The Heat Celtics, I'm playing the under. It's just a metric I like. I think there's been so many overs. I think that they're going to have a game go over under very soon. I'm talking about the Celtics here. And I think people are going to be pounding the over because of the pace they've been playing at. So I'd like the under in that game. And like I said, Spurs, Thunder, they're going to play so many times. It's just not one I'm running out of my way to play. Rockets, Nuggets, same thing. When you have these type of games, Clippers, Jazz is another one. I'll play them on some occasions. I will tell you I'm playing the Clippers over just because they are still abysmal on the over this year, and I think that has to change. But there's nothing here jumping out making me want to play one team or the other. Of course, I think people are going to be on the Clippers +8 after they just beat the Blazers without their guys. So it's interesting, but I'm still staying away. But it does look like a trap game where the Jazz might smoke the Clippers. But again, my official pick on this one is the under. The over. I like the over on the Clippers because the Clippers have gone under so often, and that just doesn't balance out. And then I guess the last fun game, right? This one's people. I'm sure a lot of people want an opinion on this one, and it's again here I have conflicting narratives. We have the Bulls who maybe they're just going to make them a terrible team this year, but if you want to make them a playoff team, losing this game wouldn't be good. Getting blown out wouldn't be good. Now you're behind the Wizards, you're behind the Knicks, and you're probably not even getting in the playoffs if they're starting them off this way, unless they do some kind of trade. So I might not play this game. If I do, I'll put an update. I will say I think the smart money is always going to be on Phoenix at home in this case. Their record against the spread is good, but there's nothing crazy about it. And the Bulls isn't a bad record against the spread. After the last game, there's a chance people are going to be fading both. So, I don't know who they're going to be. The public's going to be on. But I would favor the Suns at home to make them look strong if I had to play this game, and I might. But just to run through the ones that... And you got all my college ones yesterday. We're already 1-0 there because there's only been one game that went final. Wyoming, who did cover for us. That's in my last video. You could check all the college ones. But just to rerun these, I like Cleveland to cover. I like Celtics under. I like the Knicks to cover. I like the Wolves to cover, and I'm making that a third leg. I do officially like the Suns to cover as a small bet. I like the over on the Clippers, and I like the Lakers to cover, and I'll make that one a third or fourth leg if necessary. So we're playing most of the games, and I just wanted to go into why and who. We could play this game, I guess, but this one I can see going either way. Both, against the spread's about even, and it's very difficult with these teams. They're going to play a decent bit, so I think they play 4 times this year. So you can look at the first result and say, okay, maybe the Magic cover, but I'm just going to stay away from this one. I think it's like the others. I try and play ones that, in my opinion, have more narratives. So that's all of them. I wanted to get them out so you had ample time to pick them. I was trying to get it a little bit earlier, but you'll still have plenty of time to get these games in. And take care and happy earnings.